All right, guys, today we got a 2012 Ford F-150 in here with another moonroof problem. And the dealership brought it out, and here's how they've managed to fix the problem temporarily till they could get it here. All this tape's stuck all over it, so I haven't touched the button yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this tape off here, and then we'll touch the button and see what it's doing. I'm sure it's going to have to be another complete rebuild, but let me get all this tape off here and I'll get this tripod set up so we can get started on this thing. All right, I got the tape pulled off of it to where it'll at least move. I am not going to take the time to clean all this off. I don't know if the dealership did that or if that's the way they got it traded in or what, but please don't put tape all over your moonroof like that, or the top of your truck and the paint. Just, I don't know. I don't really know how to tell you to do it. But anyway, let's see what this thing does. Like I say, I have not touched it yet. Oh, well, they've got a board stuck up here and up here. So apparently it was falling down. So we know that it definitely has to be rebuilt. It's broken. I do want to hit the switch to see what what the motor's doing, because like I say, I always like to try to have the motor in the closed position before I start on it. Otherwise, you got to recalibrate it, which technically really isn't a big deal, but I just like it to work when I'm done. So let's see what it sounds like. Slide. Well, let's hit tilt maybe. Nothing. Slide does nothing. Well, it tries to open, so now let's hit tilt again. It ain't gonna do anything. We're probably just gonna have to fix it and recalibrate it when we're done. All right, well, the first thing we're gonna do is take these two screws out on each side and get the glass out. So those would be Torx, and I'll get this set up at a tripod and I'll tell you what they are, but I won't take up all the time of taking them all out. I'll just edit it out and kind of show you how to do this to kind of shorten the video, but I'm not one to skip steps. I want to show everybody how to do this to save themselves money. So let me get it set up and we'll go from there. All right, first of all, I want to, honestly, I've never done one of these in a extended cab. They've all been crew cabs, you know, with the B pillar here. So this is going to be a lot easier to get the headliner out rather than trying to fight it, you know, take out the passenger seat and slide it out the back door. So first thing I want to do is push these two buttons and pull these headrests out of here completely and get these seats to where they're out of the way as possible. Let's see what size these Torx screws are. T20. So we got 4 of these to take out, 2 on each side. It's 12:15 too, by the way. You want to time it and see how long this takes. Just lift up on the glass. Bring it down through here. And we'll set it out of our way. somewhere where it won't fall and break. Always want to check, make sure your hands are clean before you touch anything light colored like this. And I didn't grab a Phillips. Okay. I believe everything to do with the sun visors is Phillips screws. And there's a little, well, this is a little phone holder up here they got, and then there's a little tray. So I kind of set these screws on the left side that I take out of the left side, on the right side I take out of the right side. That way I know where they all go when it's time to put it back together. And usually the plug for the sun visor is taped up underneath the headliner. So we just want to go ahead and pull this rubber down and just get a hold of it and pull, get it down completely out of your way. Just let it fall all the way down. And there doesn't appear to be any screws in this A-pillar molding, so we're just going to tug on it. Pull the clips out. That's got, make sure you guys can see this. That has a little tweeter speaker in it that's plugged in somewhere down low, so I'm not going to pull this all the way. I'm just going to let it hang here because it's somewhere down in the dash where you got to get to it, unplug it, pull that up out. So let's go ahead and take out this last screw for the sun visor. There's just Velcro holding that sun or the headliner up too, so sounds like you're breaking something, but you're not. Yeah, this has got tape over it, this plug for the sun visor, so untape it and then you can just unclip it. Dash looks clean enough to go ahead and just lay it up there. Now, I believe that we can just get a hold of this. I don't think there's any screws. I think you just get a hold of it and pull it down. I think it's clips. And we can unplug the lights and the moonroof switch. Get that up here out of the way. Up over here to the other side and do the same thing with this one. And then we're going to pop out let me take this over there. Hold on. Okay, these here is what I was wanting you to see from over there. You just get a hold of them, pull them out, and that's usually a 7mm or an 8mm in there. Let's see if a 7 will do it. Yeah, it's a 7. Again, we're going to get a hold of this rubber. Just pull it down, get it totally out of our way. And I'm going to take, well, now that this is loose, we'll just be able to get a hold of it. Kind of feels like the screw might still be holding it. So I'll pause the phone. Well, one fell out. One's still attached, so I'm just going to do the same thing that I did over there. I'm just going to let that thing hang down because this tweeter, again, is going to plug in somewhere down here. So we're just going to get these around to the other side of the headliner so the headliner will come down and just leave those dangle. And I'll go ahead and take out these Phillips screws and unplug this sun visor. And we're going to have to unplug the back of this mirror, because I got a feeling this whole headliner is going to come out. Or I think the whole wiring harness is going to come out with the headliner. So I'll keep you posted and show you what all comes out. Okay, so yeah, there's 2 Phillips screws. I do remember this. There's one here, and there's one here, and then this whole black thing's going to come out with the headliner as well. So I'm going to take these 2 screws out, and then we got to take, I believe these are Torx bits in this door latch thing here. Got to get this down out of the way so the rest of the headliner will come down, and then we'll pull these out. But right now I'm going to get these 2 screws out for this black thing and see if all these wires will come down with it. Okay, so yeah, once you take those 2 Phillips screws out, all the wires come down with the headliner. See, it's all hanging down in the front. It does have a Sirius antenna, but it doesn't have anything to do with the headliner. It's over there and goes up through the roof over there on that side. So this whole wiring harness is going to come out with the headliner, and it's going to unplug back here somewhere. So we need to get this seat out of my way. I like how when someone brings something to work on, you got to work on a moonroof, and they leave all this crap in here. We got to get these little hooks down. You see, when you see any wrinkles like this in the headliner, when you put that back up, they're going to come completely out of it too. There's just no way around it. And a lot of times these are really hard to get out without breaking. It's not coming out. It's just barely held on down here at the bottom. And if it breaks, all you can do is glue it. So we're going to take this out on both sides. There's a screw back here. I believe it's a little Torx. Like I said, we're going to take this out, and this says there's an airbag up here. So if we get in here and this wiring harness, which I don't think it does. Let me see. Now, I don't think that, see, that does have a side curtain airbag, but I don't think it's got anything to do with the wires in the headliner. I think once, it just says airbag here, but we're going to get this off so we can drop the headliner down. I'm pretty sure that airbag just stays up there and it's plugged in over there. So I'm going to take these out on both sides. I believe they're Torx. Here's another plug we're going to pull out and see what's behind it. See if I can do that now. There it went. There's another 7 or 8 millimeter back there. We're just going to pull this away from the cab, and honestly, you may not even have to. The way this headliner may just slide forward, but we got to pull these pins out and hopefully don't get the headliner dirty. So all we got left is the 2 hangers, those 2 things for the door latch, and these 2 pins, and I think the headliner's ready to come out. So let me get those out. Okay, I did get both of these to open up without breaking, but see how thin that little bitty hinge is? It wouldn't take much for it to snap. So both of them did pop out without snapping off at the bottom, and it is a T15. So it's a T15, so we're going to take out these, and I'll see what size these are. Okay, these are not Torx. I had to get a flashlight, look up in there. They are 7 millimeter. And I just laid them right there. I'm going to lay this right here. Like I said, I'm laying everything kind of, this is like on the side in the middle because that's where it goes. And everything for the sun visors and stuff is on this side. And everything for them sun visors and stuff is over there on that side. The 2 little screws for this plastic thing up here above the mirror that we took out, I put right there where the clock is. So I believe all we got left is this other side of this and these 2 push pins. And maybe this, because I think that this whole wiring harness that's running along here, that's glued onto here, I'm pretty sure it unplugs back here above the back glass, but I will let you know. Again, just get something like this, make sure it's clean. We'll rub it in this black carpet just to make sure that there's nothing on the back, because we got to pull these out. There. So, and I'm laying this stuff, you know, in these back cup holders. There's that coat hook. There's the other side coat hook. Here's this pin. So all this stuff will be on each side. So let me get that one out of there, off there, and the 2.7mm out of that thing. And we'll see where this plug's at and if this has to come off. This very well may not have to. We may just put that plug back in it. All right, that was it. We got this last little thing from this side over there off. I was going to tell you too that those are tight. I used my little 1/4-inch impact to take those 7mm out of this tan molding that was over this. Pulled that other push pin out over there. So this is it right here. We do not have to take this off. I'm just going to stick that plug back in there. We've got 2 plugs right here. And the headliner's ready to come out. I'm going to get out of the way and I'm just going to pull it out this way because I've got more room. I'm just going to lay it over the bed. We're also going to work on the moonroof in the bed. So let me get this headliner lifted up and pulled out of here. Okay, yeah, this is the first extended cab I've ever done. That headliner came out so much more easier than dealing with a crew cab. So I just laid it, this bed's clean, I checked, I just laid it in the bed that way, so it's not touching anything on the bottom side of it, and it'll stay there and stay clean. So we got to unplug the motor for the moonroof. Just put it up here somewhere out of your way. There's a drain hose on each corner. We're going to unplug those. They're plastic. Be careful you don't break a little nipple off. So we've got all 8mm bolts holding this in. There's one back here. And then there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know, there's some really big ones right here that I don't ever remember seeing. So we'll have to see if it looks like those may have to come out too. Those look like 13mm. And this airbag does go all the way across here, but you don't have to unplug anything. So as of now, I've seen nothing that you have to undo the battery for. So I need to find something. I'm going to recline these seats the rest of the way down, and I'm going to get a bunch of blankets or one big bedspread or something and cover everything before I start undoing those bolts. So let me go see if I can find something. Okay, so I got everything. The seats are reclined. I've got everything covered up with a big bedspread, an extra blanket over the back seats there. So I'm going to get this set on the tripod and start taking these bolts out. And I'm going to go ahead and take this one out, this bracket here, take it down, which I've always done. But looking here, you've got 2 screws that come in from the top. So when I go to put this back in, I'm going to take those off and put this bracket back on first. And then that way it'll be easier maybe to slide this moonroof back up in here and hold it be like an extra hand. Maybe that's the idea of that. So, all right, I'm going to get this set up and we're going to start taking this thing out. Okay, before we get started taking this out, I want to point out that I took out two 8mm bolts right here that's holding this. And there's a little locator pin up there too that I had to kind of pull out and down on it. But I want to get this side curtain airbag to where it would pull down out of the way, because these are going to have to come out, these 13mm ones. I want to take them out on the other side too before we get started, just so that that would clear that side curtain airbag, wouldn't get hung up on it when I was trying to come down with it. And I also turned off those center shop lights so there's not such a glare. See, there's kind of a glare from those rear ones, but I got to have some light. But I turned off those center ones so you can see a little bit better up in there. So I'll go get that other bracket off for the side curtain airbag, and then we'll get started taking it out. All right, let's get started unbolting this thing. I also just went ahead and stuck a piece of cardboard right here behind the seat, just in case that bracket might hit that rear window and scratch the rear window defrost. Just take every precaution that you can. And just to let you know, it's 1:15. We've been at this an hour. So this, and you know, that's with filming and going to look for a bedspread and taking a pee and getting a drink and all that stuff. So we've only got an hour in it so far, and it's basically as good as out. So let's get started and see what happens. There's 3 across the front. Again, we'll lay these right up here. These 2 are in the front, so I'm going to lay these right down here in the front floorboard corner. Let's see. Let's take out these 13mm ones. Lay these right down here in the front too. I think I'm going to put this middle one back in here just a little bit to hold it. Keep it balanced. Just kind of think things through as you're doing it. Just finger tight. All right, so here's another one. And here's another one. So this hose side's loose. I'm going to lay these. Well, they kind of look like the ones I took out for this molding over this door latch. So I'm going to move these a little bit more forward so I know they're moonroof. Right behind them 13mm ones. And I'll just see if I can lean over this console to do this other side. I'm going to lay these right here in the seat. 13mm ones. All right, I think I am going to have to go around to the other side to get those 2 back ones. We don't need this 13mm one now because the rest are all 8, I believe. This thing's not really heavy either, it's just awkward. Okay, so I'm going to have to stick my head up there and balance this thing. something. Let's see what happens. Ready for this one. Now, I'm going to reach up here and take this one out. Right here in the center. All right. That's why you cover everything up. Now I'm stuck. Just kidding. Like I said, it's not that heavy. It's just awkward. I'm going to take it out that side over there. Let's set this back out of the way a little more. I don't like doing this in the shop because my shop is so dang cram-packed. I'd rather do it outside, but the mud dauber wasp are so bad right now, they won't stay out of these vehicles. They get in the AC vents and every nook and cranny that they can. All right, we'll take it over here and set it on the tailgate. All right. So you can figure about an hour to get it out. And I'm going to work on it right here on this tailgate. I'm going to get it situated and try to get this camera pointing in the best direction I can. And I may have to open the shop door because it's pretty tight quarters and the mud daubers will be going in and out of here like an interstate highway like they was yesterday. I've been trying to keep it closed. So let me figure out the best way to get this situated. Okay, Sunroof Doctor. Item number WSRK, $109 is what this kit costs. That's one we're going to be putting in here. There they are. So, first thing I'm going to do is take this bracket off that we were talking about. And I'm going to go ahead and go put it back on. So when it goes back in, it should just slide right in there. And like I said, it'll be like having an extra hand. Okay, so here it is, laying on the tailgate and in the back of the truck. I moved the headliner over there, just in case it touched something up there. So we've got to flip this upside down. We have to take the motor off. We got to drill out these rivets from the other side. But see this little tab right here that's bent up? There's one on both sides. On the GM trucks, there's only one on one side. I don't know why, because Chevy and GMC both take this same kit to do this. But we got to peck those down with a hammer or chisel or whatever, because we got to slide all this track assembly and stuff out of here. So first thing you want to do is tap those down so you don't forget. And then when you put it back together, you don't want to forget to turn it back and tap them back up like that, because apparently that stops it. I don't know if the motor really should stop it, but that keeps it from sliding all the way out, I guess, if the motor is out of calibration. So we got to peck those down. I am going to go get a little bit, like a 3-pound hammer, and peck those down a little bit better, but you get the idea. Okay, I've got these pecked in flush. I've had 2 phone calls since I stopped recording, so it's 1:45 now, so it's kind of hard to keep track of the time, but we'll try. So those are knocked in flush. Remember, we got to knock them back out. This is the rear trough that goes along the bottom of the back of the glass. It's got a Phillips screw on this side and a Phillips screw on this side. We got to take that out, off, I should say. Those are tiny, tiny screws. So put them over here. These track assemblies pull this thing back and forth with the glass, so it's always there. It goes back when it's raining, the water trickles down, runs across here, and then goes down the sides to your drain hose, depending on how the truck is leaning. So now, we're going to flip it over. I gotta keep checking to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm doing. I think you are pretty well. Okay, we gotta take the motor off. It's got 3 T25 Torques. You gotta take the motor off because you have to slide the cables past it and they won't slide with that gear on there. Pretty dang tight usually too. And I'll just set these screws back in it and set it over here side. Now, and you see these. These 3 rivets on each side have to be drilled out. And I grabbed the drill bits, but not the drill. Hold on. Okay, I tell you, these phone calls can sure get you flustered, especially when you really got to concentrate on something like this. All right, now I'm going to pause it again. I'm going to get the shop vac over here and vacuum up all that mess. Okay, now we got these out. I got the mess vacuumed off. You got to pry on it like so. Not really pry, just pull it. It's got all this caulk on it. And I don't ever replace the caulk because there's always so much there anyway when I put it back on. I've never had one come back and they say that they leak. So just get a hold of the cable, pull it out of this plastic thing. This one went on this inside one here. And this one here is going on the outside, which I always still forget, even though I try to make a note in my brain about it. So we can stand this up over here out of our way. Now, we got to flip this back over. My hands are getting stuck in that stuff right now. When you're doing this, just always be really careful that you don't break those nipples off. That the drain hoses go on. Now, things are going to get messy. So, I'm going to go grab some shop towels. Alright, I've got everything out of the box. Got my roll of paper towels. Had another phone call and a text. Got me a towel here. I've laid all this out here. And this one has an L on it for left. And this one has an LH for left hand. And this one has left. Over here, this one has right. This one's got RH for right hand, and it's got an R for right. So we're laying the right ones over there where they go, the left ones over here where they go. Comes with the rivets, comes with your grease, and the little applicator to grease everything up. It actually comes with more rivets than you need for this Ford one, but honestly, I think the GM ones, I think they take an extra rivet on each side, even though it's the same kit. I think that's what that is, if I remember right. You only want to do one side at a time, and this side is still somewhat together, so I'm going to do it last, kind of have it to look at. This side over here, I'm going to get things out of the way. This one's actually got, like, this piece is missing, so whenever they were trying to get it closed, they must have taken the pieces out, because it actually goes right here. It's part of this. See, you can see those holes right there, and the little guides are broken off of it. There are some pieces laying down in there. You got to make sure you get all these pieces out. So we're going to pull this side out first. I'm going to try my best to get this positioned where you guys can see what I'm doing. So let me see what I can do. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling back on this cable, and all this stuff is going to pull out at the same time. We're going to get it all out of there, and we're going to make sure all these little pieces are out of it. But you're going to do it by pulling on this cable, and what doesn't come out with it, we're just going to get a hold of and pull by hand. So let me see if I can get this focused good. I really want it focused in way more up front when I go to put that back in. So just remember, I'm pulling on that cable. I'll pull it back a little bit. When it goes up, it lays on this thing and just pushes this down. So, okay, I feel like that's the best that I can get it. I don't know. Let me see if I can lower it. I'm sorry. I just want to show you how to do it. Okay, I think that's a little better. So, all right, remember, I'm pulling on this cable in the back to get all this out. It's all going to come out the back, and I will slide this a little bit forward so you can see. There came that piece. And this piece is actually, the cable's attached to it like that. That's how we're going to put that other one on there. There's a broken piece. But this is how this cable is going to attach to that. Just slides in with those. And we're going to finish pulling the rest of this out the back. And here's where it's getting messy. Here's a piece right here. You just want to make, oh, there's another piece that came out with it. You just want to make sure that there's nothing down in these tracks. And I need something a little bit thinner than that. I had a little punch. I'm going to keep looking to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just getting in this track and I'm dragging it back to make sure there's no pieces stuck in there on both sides. I do think that they've already taken some pieces out of this one. I know they have because they're gone. So, I don't see any more. So now, we're going to get this new piece and our grease. And they give you plenty of grease. Just completely coat everything. There's a piece of grass or something. I don't know where that came from. As you guys know, I don't like to skip steps. That's why my videos are longer than everybody else's. Okay, so there's that piece. It can go ahead and go in, I think. And just slide it right in the back. Sometimes they're hard to get started. I don't know why, because they come right out. Okay, now we got started. You also want to take some grease and smear it in here. All the way back to where we knock that little thing down with the punch, just that little stop. It needs to glide easily. Okay, so this piece can go all the way up. So you hit that grease, it gets a lot smoother. And I always do it all the way closed. Get that piece all the way pushed down. Now, that's why I like to look at this side. I believe this piece goes next, but I'm going to look and make sure. Even though I just took it out, yeah. This piece goes next, and pay attention to how you took it out, which there's not much left of this one, but you can tell that's the way that it was laying right there, even though half of it's gone. So we're going to grease it up. And remember, this is the piece that the cable attaches back to. So the cable goes right back in here. Like so. And then we're going to stick it back in the end. I'm pushing it with the cable and my thumb at the same time. Then this piece goes in behind it. Remember, this is what the trough for the rear of the glass was screwed to right there. And I'm putting it in the back just like the others. And then it pokes right through this hole right here. I'll make sure you guys can see it. No, it doesn't. It goes all the way up here to this one, this little clip. So this has to go further. We'll wait for this piece because we've got to get, again, I'm not trying to act like an expert here. I just want you to know that you can do it. Push this all the way forward and there's a little notch for this thing to come up out of. Go ahead and push this forward. And we want to get grease in here too. You put it on these little tips right here. They even got some on the lid. You don't want to miss it. That one already picked some up going through there. Now, we want these to go right in here. And there's a little access hole right there for this side to go in. There. That's the spots you want it in. Now we can push this one forward and go ahead and pop it through this little clip. Now when you push the cable, that's what the motor's doing. Right now it's pretty tight. I mean, see, that's when it goes down and starts to head back. So I'm going to push forward. And that's when it gets all the way to the forward and the back goes up right there. And then when you keep pushing the cable forward, which it's not wanting to right now, the motor has a lot more power than your fingers on this cable. Keep pushing forward. Is where your tilt comes in. See how it's starting to go up now? This is starting to raise up as this slides forward. it's starting to raise this up. That's your tilt for your moonroof. But I always like to leave it back here in the full down closed position. Right there, I think, is where I want it. Right before it starts to go down. Right about there. Okay. It's time to do the other side, so let's move over there. Again, I'm just going to pull on this cable backwards, and all this stuff's going to come out. Right out the back of here. You go ahead and pop that little wire piece out of its clip. We're already broken anyway on this side. Because that's the piece that's coming out first. See, this is what's coming out first, all the way out the back. Then we're going to pull the cable, and that's when this piece that's actually supposed to be, well, here, let me open this. That piece that's coming out now, all by itself, see there, at one time was all together like this. It's broke and it's still up here. And that's the piece, just like in the last one, that this cable is actually attached to. It slips in there. Just like so. Lay the broken pieces aside. I'm sorry if I keep getting in the way. Now, the rest of it should come out all the way out the back. And I just heard a broken piece hit the floor. And see, we got some broken pieces right here. What did I do with that little punch I was using on the other side? Okay, here it is. Again, we just want to drag out all the way down both sides of this track to make sure there's no more broken pieces in it. If there is, it should kick them out right there or out the back. This side's not broken near as bad as the other side was. Okay, so I don't see any more. Now, we need our grease. And again, this piece with the tracks goes towards the outside. This is the one that goes in first. I'm going to grease the crap out of that. And get some in the track itself up here. Like I said, they give you plenty of grease. I got the fan running. I hope it's not too noisy. It's kind of warm in here. Again, get it greased all the way back here to where we knock that little stopper. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and get this piece in the back. And I'm going to show you how you do sometimes have to fight it. It doesn't always want to start for some reason. I don't know why it comes out so easy. It doesn't want to go in any easier. Slide it all the way forward. And so you've got this piece right here that actually comes up out of this hole. No, it's this back one. See, there's this back one here that comes up. Actually, they both do. See that, how those both come up out between those two holes right there? That's what allows it to move up for tilt. So now, the next piece is this one. Again, grease it up real good on the sides. And you will want some on these tits on both sides. And again, smear some in these tracks. And this piece is ready to go in the back. And remember, we got to attach the cable to it. Cable and all goes in here. I always like for this piece to go down in the back with it. My tripod's going to be a greasy mess. Get this piece all the way forward until let's see. You can get it lined up in those two slots, just like that. Now, this piece, again, grease up where it slides on both sides. And remember, we already put a lot of grease in the tracks. So we're done with the grease. This piece goes in the back, just like the others. I need a clean rag. This one's full. And again, we can go ahead and snap this piece in this little clip. And then I mean, you have to make sure that, see, now that's where it's starting to tilt up. We're going to pull this back down to right about there. It's right here on this very top. That should be the fully closed position. You want these to be even on both sides. You don't want them out of time. That's really bad. So, I'm even cut myself on the side of that moonroof metal. So I'm just going to kind of play with it here. That's where it starts to go down. And go all, push it back. That looks like about right in the fully closed position. And it's right here, so I want to look at the other side. This one sure doesn't pull as easy as that other side does. See, when we go to put the glass back in, it's going to screw into these holes. You certainly want them to be even this way. And that one seems to be right smack dab on that little curve on the top. That one's a little bit forward. Pull this back a little bit. Okay, that looks like it's... Oh, my finger's really bleeding. I'm trying to get this piece that's in this slide right even with this little curve right here on top. Trying to get both sides exactly even. So I'm trying, it's hard to see on this tripod. Let me take it out. So this piece here is just starting to come out from underneath this little opening. And this piece here is exactly the same. So I think we're right here at this crown on this side. And I think we're right here at the crown on this side. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I just laid my arm on the cap with the grease in it, so hold on, let me get cleaned up. Okay, I got my hands all washed and everything, and my arm where I stuck it in the grease cap. I want to show you guys, I'm pretty sure I've got this dead center here in fully closed position, and another way to look is right here. This slide under here just has this little ramp shape. So just the little ramp shape part right there is sticking out. And then you go over here and look at this side. And again, just the little ramp shape is sticking out of here. So that should tell us that everything is pretty dang even side to side. So now we got to turn this thing back upside down. And well, yeah, upside down this time. And put that plastic piece back on with the cables and riveted on and everything. So again, remember, try not to, try not to get on a corner and break off one of those drain nipples. I tell you what, this metal is really sharp. I've cut up my fingers pretty good. I've never done that before on one of these, I don't think. The drain holes as this right now are just still in the front, the nipples. The others are on the back of that piece over there that we're going to put back on. So we got to remember which one of these holes the cables go in, because I told you I always forget. But that's where you got to start. So it's going to sit on here like so. So this cable is going to go in this one. See how sticky that stuff is and how coated it is on there and underneath here. That's why I don't ever go ahead and put any more caulk on it, because I just don't think you need it. Like I say, I've never had one leak. And here's your other drain nipple right here on this one. So we've got to start by feeding these cables back. This is going to go in this outside one. And do the same thing on this side. It's going to go in the inside one. Just try not to tug on them, you know, sliding, and get our timing out on both sides. Just let them glide right back in here. And we'll double check that before we rivet these on or put the motor back on. Right now the cable's gliding through there just fine. I don't think it's moving our cams up there. Okay, that's pretty sticky. So, like I say, it comes with all the rivets that you need. Let me see if I can position this better. Hold on. All right, we're going to do this on both sides. 3 rivets on each side, and I don't think I've used this old little rivet gun since I did the last one of these. hold it down. Make sure that it bites it good. Okay, go over, do the same other side. Okay, so there's only one left. There's something about those GM ones about, I don't remember what it is. It has something to do with that track assembly that you got to add a rivet or something. Okay. Now, we're going to turn it upside down again and just check to make sure that we haven't gotten out of time by putting those cables back in here. Well, there went my drill. These things are so lame compared to those original old ASC moonroofs. It's just really sad that they make something this freaking cheap for what one cost. I've never had a problem out of those old Lincolns with those ASC moonroofs in them, ever. Other than when I had my first 79 town coupe and it leaked and I was too stupid to know why. The drain holes were plugged. Okay. Let's look at this again, just to make sure. See that little ramp is still just starting out right there. We still look on center up here. Again, you see that little ramp? Just starting out, and we look center up here, so I think we're good. Put the motor back on and it'll be ready to go back in. Which means, let's see. How was that thing on there? Okay, this is the top side, so we got to turn it over to put the motor back on. Again, there's a lot of flipping involved in this. I'll go ahead and take these out. Again, laying in sequence. And what did I do with the nut driver? It just sucks that you can't put this back up in there and try it. The way it's all automatic and everything, you got to put it all back together and put it back up in there and plug everything in before you can even try it. And don't ever try it unless the glass is on it, because it's just going to fly apart and bust again. Don't try anything until the glass is bolted back in. I think it was about 1:15 when we got it out. I've had multiple freaking phone calls and texts, and we rebuilt it. And it's 3 o'clock now, so we've been an hour and 45 minutes rebuilding it, but I've had a lot of interruptions as well. So, okay, the motor's back on. Remember I said we have to knock these little tabs back down. And you see, I put this in a different spot. Those things are actually right here, almost below this thing, which is riveted on here, so it can't get on them too good. So I'm just going to try to do the best I can, get those knocked back down, or actually up. This one's not going as easy as that side did. This one went real good. Let's turn it back up the other way and look at them. We still have to put the trough on. Yeah, we get a little bit better at flipping that thing. Well, yeah, this one, that side popped up really good, but this one's not. I'm going to pause it so I'm not eating up a bunch of time. And I'm going to make sure that I get that thing popped back out. Okay, see, they're popped back up really good now on both sides. It's hard to see that, but all we got left to do is put our trough back on. So let me get this back on here. See if we can find our little screws that we took out of it. Here's one. Like I said, a lot of times these holes don't line up the best when you get them back. I'll get one started on one side. That rubber's not on there the best either, but I'm afraid if I... No, it's alright, same on both sides. And here's this one. This one's not lining up as well as that side did. Okay, now I think it's ready to go back in. So, I'm going to get it positioned in there and see how dumb I look trying to put it back in. Okay, here it goes. Still not sure how I'm going to start it. Remember I put this bracket back in. I told you I was going to put it back in. I left it a little bit loose so it could move back and forth. I'm going to try to get this back started in there first. I'm not even sure how I'm going to get under it. So if you guys want to laugh at me, put it in the comments making fun of me. I don't care. I just hope this video helps somebody save a bunch of money. So here it goes. I'm going to try to get it started up on there, and then I'm going to try to get that center one up there started. I'm going to have to get under it somehow. I'm going to slide this shade back up underneath there so I don't touch it and get it dirty. All right, let's see if I can do this. Not sliding on there quite as good as I wanted it to. Let's see how close I am to these holes. Okay, it slid back in there. So I'd like to get this front one started. Which I put right here so it'd be easy to grab. And these two. Try to get them all started before I tighten them all down. When you tour that F-150 factory in Dearborn, you wouldn't believe how easy they make this look. It goes through the windshield with a little fork truck. One guy's doing that, and then a guy on each side buzzing all these in. It sure makes it look a lot simpler. I remember I laid these two down right here because they were the closest to this end. They're all going in pretty good finger tight. I remember on this end we had those big ones, the 13mm ones. So I think I'm sitting on them. No, I'm not. What'd I do with them? They're right here. These things go down the assembly line so fast at that truck plant. If you've never went up there and took that tour, you need to. That one's not starting finger tight real good, but I'm going to go around and get the others, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna get these started before I spin them in. All right, I got them all started, and if you remember right, I took these two out of this bracket after we had it out on the tailgate. So we got to put them back in through the top. I got one started. And I got a ratchet wrench. Try to tighten them back up. Let's see. Yeah, they're going in really good with my fingers. Okay, where's my little impact? Here it is. Got the 8mm in here. I don't know where the 13 went, but I'll find it. All right, get that cardboard out of there. All right. I should be able to get to these up on this side. Maybe. Okay, now I just got to find the 13. I thought I laid it right up here. And put in these last 4. So, rather than eating up time, I'll pause it till I find it. Well, the truck ate that one, so I got another one, and hopefully it turns up when we take all this stuff out of here. So let's spin in these last 4. All right, it's back in. Do not forget to plug your drain hoses back in. Honestly, that one there, I didn't think was on there great to start with, so I'm going to put a wire tie around that just to make sure that it doesn't come off. Make sure there's no kinks in them. That was all right. All right. I'm going to get me a little wire tie and put around this one. There, that's on there tight enough that it won't slip off. Okay, well, I think we're ready for the headliner. So, I get this out of the way, get it started, go up in there after I cover the seats back up. Okay, the headliner, I've got it laid back in here. So don't forget to plug in your moonroof motor. And remember, we've got 2 plugs coming off of this headliner. It's got to be plugged back in. Again, do not forget your drain hoses. We got all 4 of them. So I'm going to get this back in the tripod and see if we can get it stuck back up in here. Okay, it's still that light over there has got a glare, but I've still got this center one off, so it's not glaring so bad. So I think you guys can see pretty much what I'm trying to do here. So we want to get this back started up underneath these C-pillar moldings. There's that one. I'll go to the other side. And that one fell off already. I'm going to have to get in here and lay under it again and just try to guide it. Once we get up around the moonroof, like I say, we've got magnets and Velcro and stuff that will hold it. We've got to get around these A-pillar moldings and the mirror. You hear that? Those magnets just held it, which is a godsend. Go ahead and clip this back in. So hold it. There. Sheesh. I'm going to get a drink. And then we'll finish putting all this stuff back together. I'm going to skip the drink for a second because remember, I had to take these side curtain airbag things down and I just about forgot to put the bolts in. So I stick it around there and get it back in this little locator. We got to get those back in before we get this all buttoned back up on both sides. You don't have to worry about the airbag exploding in your face or anything like that because we didn't unplug it. And the sensors are elsewhere in the truck. It's not getting a signal from up here. So let's go get the other side in. Okay, I got that other side bolted on. Up there, the side curtain airbags. I went ahead and took the blankets out. I'm going to go ahead and put these little black screws back up in here for this thing so we can get all this plugged in. And it's not easy to see those holes. Plug the mirror back in. It's got this dang air freshener thing hanging on it that's getting in the way. You know what? I'm not going to plug this moonroof switch in until we get the glass in, just in case it happened to move. That side looks like where it should be. That side still looks like where it ought to be. All right, this glass has just a little bit of a curve on the front. Be sure you aim it in there correctly. All right, I'm going to get those 4 bolts back in. I'm going to show you. As you're doing this, you just kind of want to push up on it and get it even with the metal of the truck, just like so, just like the top of the truck. You want to get it even because it's really adjustable. So you get your screws started, and as you're tightening them up, keep stopping and coming up and checking it and make sure that you're even like that. So I'm going to pause it while I do that. Because see, when I release that with my thumb, how it falls down. So I'm going to get these 4 bolts back in the glass. Okay, I got it pretty well even in all the corners. Sags down a little bit in the middle of the front, but it's fine everywhere else around. Plus it's had that freaking tape stuck on it for who knows how long. So I'm going to leave it the way, you know, all corners look even to me. So this is the moment of truth. Let's see if we can plug this in with me holding the phone. Probably not. Let's see. No, I'm going to have to put it on the tripod. Alright, this is the lights. Here's the moonroof. Let's try tilt. I always like to try tilt first. Would help if the key was on. It tilted. Went back down. Tilted. Went back down. So let's hit slide. Then you can hit it again. This is what they call, I think, comfort closure. You can hit it again and it'll open again. Now hold on. That means when it jumps back like that, that means it's not calibrated right. So let's see. It's jumping. I think you hold it. Okay, let's hold it in the back position. I don't remember for how long. I thought it would jump or something. It hasn't. Okay, let's see. Let's close it. Well, there it went folded back again. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it in the front position. All right, I'm gonna try to open it again. I'm gonna leave my fingers off of it. Cover closure. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. So let's see if it'll close without holding it. Seems to be working now. But that's what you do. You either hold that, I think you hold it in the back, but when we did it, jump back again. So I held it in the front, but try both ways if it's not in the right spot. That's like I say, I didn't know where the motor was when we took it off. I couldn't tell. Tilt it again. Let's see if it looks like it's supposed to on the top, if it stayed even on the corners. Yep, it sure did. So I think we're good to go. So I'll put this back together on film. You guys don't have to watch me if you want. Basically, it's reverse procedure. Better make sure this slides. It does. And actually, that should open up with the glass if you hit it. Yeah, it grabbed it and took it with it. Okay, let's get this thing back together. I never did find that socket this truck ate. Hopefully when I get done cleaning everything up, I've got it. Sorry about all the bouncing. Now that plug's hanging down for the sun visor. This one is not. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right there. We're not going to worry about sticking it back up under that tape. So let's go ahead and just pop this thing back in. I hit the damn sunroof again. Well, I guess it did that time. It's tight. What did I do? Tilt this thing? Yeah. Perhaps I should turn the key off. And before I stick these back on, I'm going to go ahead and put the sun visors on. I don't really know that we need to film that because, like I said, I laid everything out here. We've got this that can go on. I usually don't like skipping steps though, like I said. got little locators. There it goes. I'll show you guys real quick how a lot of this stuff just goes back together. Here's this push pin. There's that. Sometimes you don't always hit the hole the first time. We all know how that is. And here's this thing that I took out that I didn't need to. And remember, these were just little torque screws we got to put back in. As I climb around on all this trash in here, well, I dropped that screw, so. Well, I'll just put that back on in a second. So, I think we better wrap it up. This is a pretty long video. We'll stick our headrest back in. Remember, this just goes right back up here with the 7mm screws that we're holding it on. And we'll just start rolling our rubber back up all the way around. I'll stop right there until I get those A-pillar moldings snapped back on. But remember, I told you there'd be no wrinkles. See, they're all gone. When you're taking these out, you get some kinks, but it all comes back out of it. That's all there is to it. I really hope this helps you guys, because what time is it? We started at 12:15. I did skip lunch, but I had a lot of interruptions. It's almost 5 o'clock, so, you know, you're looking at 5 hours by the time I get this all buttoned back up and put back together. But you have to take in consideration that I had quite a few phone calls and text messages, and went to the bathroom and went and got a drink and had to go get blankets to cover this up and grab tools here and there, and, you know, filming it and really explaining it. So if you guys watch this a couple times, 3 times, whatever, there's no doubt in my mind that you can do this. Just try to get it as even as you could with that, how I showed you for the motor, because we didn't know if it was calibrated. But if it just stopped somewhere, like it did that little jump, or if it's going up forward and it stops and goes back, you either hold it all the way forward, but I really think it's all the way back, but it seemed like it helped it to do forward. I don't know. For some reason, I thought I always did the back. So anyway, that's just recalibrating it by holding that one way or the other. It's not going to hurt which way you hold it. And it usually takes a jump and lets you know, okay, I'm calibrated. So that's all there is to it, guys. Just take your time, and you save so much money. Like I said, what was that, $109 for that part? And it's $1,200 alone just for the assembly at Ford, plus you pay somebody else to do it. And I really think if I wasn't filming this and I had everything ready to go, I would probably have it done in 3-4 hours instead of 5. So I hope this really helps you guys. Again, please hit that thumbs up. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. I'll be going to Detroit here before long, and I should have some pretty decent videos coming up. I'm taking my green car up there. So thank you very much for watching. All right, guys, I just wanted to come back and show you that it's all back in one piece. You can't tell anything ever happened in there. The sunroof working fine, as you saw. The only thing is, oh, when you guys see me, I think you see me drop that bolt or that screw for that coat hanger. It fell down here between the seat and that sub. So I had to take 4 bolts out of the sub to get the sub up to get the bolt out. So that took some time. And I still have not found my 13mm socket. So I'm hoping when I back this truck out of the shop, it's fell out and rolled somewhere in the floor, because I've turned this truck upside down looking for it. So you guys can do this. Trust me. If you got any questions, put it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. One more thing, fellas. That damn socket somehow fell. Not even, well, I guess that is some kind of a pocket. But I went like that, and there it was. So when I got up there on that bedspread, somehow that thing went right down in there. I've spent all this time looking for it, and there it is. Just want to let you know, I found it. The truck didn't eat it. Again, thanks for watching.